Everybody, welcome back to my channel, Mr. Brown. Today we're doing an episode of Ask Mr. Brown.
You're listening to Ask Mr. Brown. Got questions? Well, ask Mr. Brown. He'll give you his perspective on your questions. He's a speaker, a mentor. He's the choice guy who wants to help you make better choices to live a better life. So go ahead, ask Mr. Brown.
Well, yes, they did. They went ahead. They asked me a question. Therefore, I'm giving my perspective on this question today in a special edition of Ask Mr. Brown. Now, I say special because I do a lot of these episodes and most of them for kids. I do Ask Mr. Brown Kids Edition. You can check that out on the other channel, Mr. Brown Kids. But today I got one from a junior high student and it's about dating. So I'm going to give my perspective on this question. I believe it's a junior high student. It was in this collection of questions I have from a school and I'm pretty sure it's from a junior high student. The question is this: I feel like my life isn't as balanced as it's supposed to be. I find myself spending more and more time with my girlfriend and not enough time with my family or by myself. I don't know how to communicate with her that I can't be with her as much as she expects. What do I do? Now, I feel like this is maybe romance advice from Mr. Brown as well. I don't know, but number one, this is a junior high student answering this question. And so I have my own thoughts about dating. I don't think it's the best thing for you at that age just because of, well, this is one reason right here. At that age, can you really, you start to drift away from your family, your friends, and what can you really do? I joke with students all the time. Y'all go together? Yeah, we go together. Where do y'all go? Huh? Like, where do y'all go? And I think sometimes because of our world, we grow up too fast. And I think we need to just be friends, hang out, and not start getting romantically involved at such an early age. And I see kids who are at fifth grade dating, talking about we boyfriend, girlfriend, holding hands, kissing, making out. I'm like, come on, let's slow your roll. And part of it is our fault as parents, because sometimes we be seeing little kids, they be like 2 years old. Oh, they so cute together. Oh, give them a minute. Give them a couple years, not a minute. Give them a couple years. 10 years, 12. Like, let the kids grow up, let them be kids. So number one, I would say that. Number two, I would say kudos. Let me give you a round of applause, bro, because I think you are thinking and you're light years ahead of some of us when I was that age and dating. So I'm gonna give you a round of applause just for asking the question. You asked this question, and I think that's a good question to be asking. And you knew yourself, you're knowing yourself that you're not in a good place, you're not feeling balanced. And that's a great thing, especially at such a young age, that you realize that you're spending too much time with her, not enough time with your family. So kudos for you being mature enough to know I'm out of balance, spending way too much time here. And I think you're onto something. Because most of us don't understand life balance. And life won't always be perfect balance. There'll be seasons where you're doing more of this and more of that. But I think to understand already at your age that you're spending too much time with one person, I think it's a good thing. And even you said this, not enough time with my family. That's great because you need your family. And even by yourself, time alone is important. And when I say time alone, I mean even turning off the video games, social media, just sitting with your own thoughts, contemplating your life, I think is a great thing to do. Some solitude is good for everybody. And I think that's great you realizing that already. So I wrote some other things down real quick that I wanted to tell you. Number one, good for you. Number two, I think priorities are really important to handle. And I think of this illustration called rock, pebble, and sand. If you had a jar, like a mason jar, and you had a bunch of rocks, you had a bunch of pebbles, and a bunch of sand, what would you put in first to make sure everything fit in? Well, most people say you should put in the rocks first. And I think you should because the rocks are bigger, right? You get the big things in first. Then you put the pebbles in because they will fit around the bigger rocks. And then you take the sand and the sand will pour and fill in all those empty gaps. And think about your life. What are the rocks in your life? What are the pebbles? What are the sand? Not saying all of them aren't important, but some things are more important than others. So what are the big rocks in your life? And family, you mentioned, is one of them. Spending time by yourself is another. Put those rocks in there because that way other stuff will get in where it fits in and not get out of whack and in the wrong place. And I want to spend some time on this idea because I talked to adults about this. The you rock, you matter. Like in some instances, including this one, you need to put yourself first. Because if you're not feeling imbalanced, you keep giving to her, giving your family, giving your schoolwork, giving all stuff, you won't have anything left to give because you're not replenishing yourself. So one of my favorite quotes to give, I do this for professional development, is this: if my output exceeds my input, my upkeep will be my downfall. That if my output, what I'm putting out to the world, I'm giving everybody else, exceeds what I'm putting into me, what I'm eating myself, keeping that up will lead to my downfall. And even in this dating situation, if you give to her, give to your family, give to your friends, give to your schoolwork, if you've got a job, I don't know, you give, and you're out of balance all the time, you're going to break down. And I've sensed that in my own life. Whenever I get sick, it's usually because I'm doing too much. Like I'm doing too much, not getting enough sleep, not eating right. I'm just so busy. And next thing I know, my body starts to say, hey, hold on, bro. You're not taking care of us. You don't take care of us, ain't gonna be no us, right? My body don't want to talk to me that way, but I feel that way, right? I gotta take care of me. And I'm not saying to the exclusion of other people, but if I don't eat, I can't feed nobody else. And I love the illustration of flying an airplane. Like if the oxygen mask comes down, the cabin loses pressure, you're supposed to put your own mask on first, even if you got your cute little baby with you. Because if you're trying to put theirs on, you're fizzling with them, they fighting you back, and you can't get theirs on while you're trying to fight them, you go suffocate because you don't have the right oxygen on yourself. So put yours on first. So that's what I would say priorities. Figure out what the big rocks are. And at this age, is she the biggest rock in your life? She probably shouldn't be. And I think that's what you're saying right here. Then put in the pebbles and then fill in everything else with the sand. Let it get in where it fits in. If it don't fit, then you probably don't need to be doing it. So that's number 2. And the last thought I had was this. Boundaries are so important in life. And if you learn to establish boundaries in your relationships, you will have a much more happy and productive life. A lot of us struggle with the correct boundaries in life. 2 thoughts about boundaries. Number 1, if you talk to your girlfriend and she doesn't understand that, and she doesn't respect it now, the question is, will she ever? Consider her life. You consider her and how you talk to her. You're saying, listen, I like you. I like hanging out with you, whatever, but you need to understand I need to be me. I need to have some space for me, not try and date anybody else. I don't know, whatever you want to say to her, but I just need to make sure that I'm okay with me, that I need some time with my family, hang out with them, need some time by myself. And if you can't understand that, then you don't understand it now, you won't understand it later if we end up together. Now, let me just say this on the side. Now, I talked about not dating. There are a few cases where people were dating junior high and now they're married, happily married for 30, 40, 50 years. That can't happen. That's not always the case. So that's why I'm not putting you down if you are dating, but I'm saying, hey, consider, should you be dating? In this situation, hey, if she can't understand or respect your boundaries now in this area, will she ever respect them in other areas? And this goes for girls too. If some boy is not respecting your boundaries, will they ever respect them in the future? Is that somebody you want to be with long term? They can't respect your boundaries and things that you put up for yourself, what's good for you? Really think about that. And then secondly, when it comes to boundaries, because you are learning to set those boundaries now, it will set you up for a happy and successful life, I believe. So don't be afraid to set those boundaries, because if you can do it now, you can start at a young age setting boundaries for people and things in your life. It's only going to help you later on in life. So if she can't respect them now, she might not respect them later. I don't think she'll be able to respect them later. And if you set them now, you're setting yourself up and other people to respect your boundaries. Even adults in your life who you need to have boundaries with. If you set those now and be firm on those boundaries, it'll be better for you, for them, and everybody else involved. So that's my perspective on that question. I probably could say a whole lot more, but I don't want to make the video too long. Hey, what do you think? Hey, maybe your advice would be good, or your perspective would be good to leave in the comments below, so the student, whoever asked this question, or other students who may be dealing with this, or adults for that matter, can learn from you as well. Let's have a healthy conversation about boundaries, about this idea of balance, life balance. And again, kudos to you, student, whoever you are who asked this question, because I think you're on the right track of making better choices to live a better life and to always choose well. Oh, yeah.